Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the super powerful world of data mining.
So, have you ever stopped and wondered, how in the world does my streaming service always know the perfect movie to recommend? Or how does that online store seem to, literally read my mind? Well, I can tell you, it's not magic, but it is an incredibly powerful process.
The answer, the big secret, is a process that's a lot like panning for gold in a river. But, instead of sifting through dirt and rock, we're talking about sifting through this massive, rushing river of information, all to find these tiny, incredibly valuable nuggets of insight.
In that process, that's what we call data mining. At its very core, it's all about one thing: taking raw, totally messy data and transforming it into real, actionable knowledge. Knowledge you can use to make predictions, spot new opportunities, and honestly, just understand the world in a completely new way.
Okay, so to really get how this all works, let's take a tour of our very own knowledge factory. First up, we'll check out the raw material, the data. Then we'll look at the blueprint for the whole operation. After that, we'll see the assembly line that gets the data ready, check out the cool tools of the trade, and finally, we get to the big payoff. Let's get started.
All right, first stop, the raw material. You've probably heard the saying, data is the new gold. And you know what? It's true. We are absolutely in the middle of a data gold rush. But here's the catch. The raw data itself, that's not where the value is. It's just the very, very beginning of the journey.
And this data, it comes from literally everywhere. I mean, think about it. Every single time you click on a website, buy something, post on social media, it's all data. Even things like sensor readings and medical records. But the thing is, in its raw form, this stuff is just chaotic. It's inconsistent, it's messy, and let's be honest, it's pretty much useless until you do something with it.
So how do you turn all that chaos into clarity? Well, you need a plan, right? You can't just start digging for gold randomly and hope for the best. You need a blueprint. And in the world of data mining, one of the most trusted, most proven blueprints out there is called the CRISP-DM framework.
Now, CRISP-DM breaks the whole thing down into 6 key phases. You start with business understanding, like what are we even trying to solve here? Then you move to data understanding. What have we got to work with? Next up is the really heavy lifting, data preparation. After that, you get to the fun part, modeling, where you find the patterns. Then you evaluate if those patterns actually mean anything. And finally, deployment, putting it all to work. But the most important part, it's a circle. It's not a straight line. You're always looping back, always refining, always learning more.
Okay, let's zoom in on that third step, data preparation, because this is our factory's assembly line. And I can't stress this enough, this is the most critical and by far the most time-consuming part. We're talking up to 80% of a whole project's time. This is where all that raw material gets cleaned up, sorted out, and made ready for the real work to begin.
But here's the thing. This assembly line can't just run on any old database. For this kind of heavy-duty analysis, you need something special, a data warehouse. Think of it this way. A traditional database is like a cashier's checkout. It's fast, efficient, and great for one transaction at a time. A data warehouse, though, that's like the company's entire archive and research library combined. It's built to handle huge, complex questions about everything that's ever happened. It's optimized for insight, not just quick transactions.
And the engine that powers this whole assembly line? It's a process called ETL. That stands for extract, transform, and load. It sounds simple, but it's a beast. First, you extract the raw data from all those different sources. Then, you transform it. This is the cleaning, the standardizing, the combining. And finally, you load that beautiful, clean, refined data right into the warehouse, where it's ready for some serious analysis. All right, our data's prepped, it's clean, it's sitting on the assembly line, ready to go. So now, it's time to bring in the really cool stuff, the specialized machinery. These are the actual data mining techniques. The tools that are going to find those hidden patterns, those gold nuggets we've been looking for this whole time.
First up, we have a technique called association rules. It's a really powerful tool that does one thing really well. It finds what goes together. It's all about uncovering those hidden relationships in the data and figuring out what items frequently show up at the same time.
And this right here is the classic, most famous example of it. Customers who buy diapers also buy beer. This is a real discovery from a retail chain. They crunched their transaction data and found this totally unexpected link. So what did they do? They put the beer and diapers closer together in the store, and boom, sales of both went up. That's a pattern a person probably would have never ever spotted on their own.
Okay, next tool in our kit, clustering. Now this one's really cool because it's what we call an unsupervised technique. What does that mean?
It means you don't tell it what to look for. You just give it the data, and the algorithm itself finds the natural groups hidden inside it. It's an amazing way to discover segments or categories you didn't even know were there.
So for instance, a retailer could feed all its purchase data into a clustering algorithm. It might come back and say, hey, you don't just have customers. You have 3 distinct types of customers. You've got your budget shoppers, your premium buyers, and your impulse buyers. And once you know that, wow, now you can create totally different marketing strategies that speak directly to each one of those groups.
Then we have classification. Now this is kind of the opposite of clustering. With this one, you do know the categories you're working with ahead of time. The absolute classic example, one we all use every single day, is an email spam filter. Its job is simple. Look at an incoming email and classify it into one of 2 buckets, spam or not spam.
And our last major tool is anomaly detection. Its job is super simple. Find the weird stuff. That's it. It learns what normal looks like in your data, and then it flags anything that pops up that doesn't fit the pattern. This is absolutely critical for stuff like credit card fraud detection. You know that text you get from your bank about a strange purchase? That's anomaly detection at work.
Okay, so we've gathered the raw data. We've run it through our assembly line. We've used our specialized tools to find the patterns. Now, we get to the whole point of this exercise, the final step, the big payoff. This is where we take those patterns we found and turn them into real-world, tangible value.
And this is why all this matters so much. This is the so what. In retail, those association rules, they lead to smarter product placement and, yep, more sales. In finance, anomaly detection literally saves millions by stopping fraud in its tracks. And for those streaming services we started with, a smart mix of clustering and classification is what creates those incredible recommendations that keep us glued to the screen.
So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. Data mining is not just about looking in the rearview mirror to see what happened. It's about using the patterns of the past to make incredibly intelligent predictions, to actually help shape the future.
I love this quote from data expert Claudia Reid. She said, "You're building the future one dataset at a time." And that's exactly right. Every single dataset you clean, every pattern you discover, it's another building block for a smarter, more efficient, and way more insightful tomorrow. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? When you think about this absolute ocean of data that we're all swimming in every single day, what other hidden patterns are just sitting there, right now, waiting to be discovered? Waiting for the right person to ask the right question? The next huge insight, the next game-changing discovery, it might be just one data set away.